Interview ki mo la ṣe ni bele na san oko mi o.
Atomoye, why did you say that?
You're not making me sorrow. And I'd always preferred to date somebody of my caliber. I don't believe chasing somebody's husband or chasing one big man because the fear of Mama Finisho Gonwe was always there that time.
A friend of hers asked her to come over for threesome. My auntie did not bother to ask what a threesome was. Hello and welcome on the E.B.U.N show. See, you guys have to support me. Especially on this episode, you have to do all you can to find more subscribers for me. Tori Kini, see how my face is. I'm actually not feeling well. My head is pounding. But because of you guys, I have to be here. Then, I couldn't miss the opportunity of bringing my celebrity aunt on this episode. Aunty Omoyemi, that's how I call her. She's the Bajini that is going viral on all social media platforms. So she came all the way from the UK and I couldn't miss this opportunity. So you're going to enjoy every bit of it. What are we talking about on this episode? It's about a woman being independent, being able to achieve things by herself. I'm not talking about feminism, or don't twist my word. I'm just saying a woman being able to break through all orders. You're welcome on the show.
Hello, Sade. Ṣàlàáfíà ni. Mo rí miss correct ko kí ló tẹ́lẹ̀. Mi kò kí ko bá ti lè gbọ́ wọn àjọsọ ni yé pè mí mọ́. Mọ́ pè mí o. Mo ń gbọ́ kí mi tẹ́tí sí ọmọ mi gbọ́ kó sí ọ. Ẹ̀sùn o fẹ́ sọ ìwọ ọmọ 25 years wà fẹ́ bàbá 60. Ẹ̀sùn o lè sọ ọmọ bá mi sọ. Ọmọ alẹ́ mi o máa gbé ọ ṣépè. Ọmọ méjèèjì kí ọmọ láyà mi máa fi gbé ọ ṣépè. Ṣé o gbọ́? Mẹ́fẹ̀ẹ́ gbọ́ wọn fẹ́ wí. Ó dàn mẹ́mẹ́ ní pè mí ní background jẹ́ kí n gbé kọ́ọ̀lù. Hello, Yesiye. Ìyẹn náà yẹn káàárọ̀ sá o. Ṣàlàáfíà ni o. Ta ló ń sọ̀rọ̀? Àfẹ́sọ̀nà Ṣadé. Yèso fún yín ní ìyàwó. Ẹ ó dàn mẹ́sẹ̀jì kan wo orí fóònù mi jẹ́ mi wò. 20 million. Èso ní 20 million àbí 2,000 náà fẹ́ ìsíkì yìí 20 million. Ẹ ó dàn sàmà pé ń padà mẹ́mọ̀ ń wọ orí fóònù mi. Hello? Ẹ̀yin ni sẹ́ndì 20 million sí mi. Àfẹ́sọ̀nà Ṣadé. Ẹni transfer 20 million. Ẹni. Yẹn á pè mí padà. Ọ̀dà. Hello Ṣadé. Kí o pàjọ́ orí tọ̀hún gan. 65 péré. Àdúgbò ni máa kàn ró omi sọ̀rọ̀ rẹ̀. Mo kàn ró 20 million. Ó tún wọn akọ́lé kò wá. Ẹni bá láyé ní ṣeéṣe, ẹni bá ìgbéyàwó mà ṣeéṣe. San fẹ́ san wọ̀. Mo mi lè dá sá. A ní pàdé akọrin tí ó mọ̀ ẹ́ ìkórè dà mí bọ̀. Kébà ibẹ̀ ń bá gbé tọ̀hún ṣe pé máa dá fẹ́ nígbà ìyàwó rí mà ṣeéṣe. 65 years. Àdúgbò ni máa kàn pé 20 million. Jídé kí omi fẹ́ ra gèrè. Káàdì ló fún mi, owó pọ̀jù ó fún mi ní 5,000. Kí n bá tún rí Jídé nílé mi, á ṣòfò. Ẹni bá ìgbéyàwó rí máa ṣeéṣe. Àgbẹ̀rẹ̀dínlélógún yìí nísìmí tọ̀hún máa nísìmí. Èmi ni mo bí ọ. Òun bá dẹ̀gùn mi ni máa fọmọ mi ṣe mí ni mo jìyà lórí rẹ̀. Wí mo kí mo jẹ́ kan mo ti mí relé kí wọ́n abọ̀ yẹn abọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn abọ̀. 65 years. Máa kàn ròyìn arúgbó kan ni. Èmi mọ̀mọ́ rẹ̀ gan 50. Am I holding it in very well? Sorry about that.
You recognize a star when you see one, yeah? Yeah, my auntie. It's time to farms. You know Moyemi Akoke on Facebook, on social media. Now you know Bajini. If you've not subscribed to that page, you're missing a lot. This is my auntie. Auntie Moyemi, you're welcome on the E.B.U.N show.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. Hello, everyone. How are we doing?
Okay. Bí a tó bá sọ Jesha yẹn, ó máa yé yín gangan. Ẹ bá ń sọ Jesha fún wọn.
I don't know what she's talking about.
Auntie Moyemi now.
Okay. Ẹ pẹ̀lú ẹ̀yin ará ilé ṣe dáadáa ní wa o. Ikújọ́ mẹ́ta, ikú àti ṣàlà ni mo bá yín o.
A quick background. My auntie practically raised herself. I'm sure I didn't get permission to say this.
I'm blushing.
But she lost her mom when she was quite young, and she didn't really stay with her dad. But here she is today. I'm proud of her as my aunt. Accomplished so much. So my first question to you, Aunty Moyemi, ni pé, how did you do it that you didn't let your background hold you down?
First of all, I believe so much in destiny. I want to believe it has to do with destiny. Because at every point in time, whatever you lay in your heart to do and you walk alongside, you see yourself achieving it. If you've been destined that you're going to achieve so and so things, you see yourself achieving them with time. It's more of hard work, perseverance, a lot of determination. Like, oh no, I believe I can break barriers. I never had this. I have this unstoppable attitude. I don't believe there's anything I cannot achieve if I want to achieve. So it's just believing in myself, not letting my background hold me back. Like, no,
I doubt if there are some people destined not to do well, but you mentioned something about you believe that there is nothing you cannot achieve.
Yeah.
Yes, I think I'll hold on to that. Like believing in yourself that you can do so much more.
Yeah.
But I want you to tell me about your struggles.
Oh.
Growing up, the things you had to go through to break through to where you are today.
You don't want to know.
I want to know.
You already know some of them, but for our audience,
yes.
I will let you know some of them. When I left my auntie, her mom, I left in 1993 and I came to Ilesha. From Ilesha, I came to Lagos. We started from being a sales girl. As I was a sales girl with there's this shop in K2 bus stop where I was a sales girl. From there, I moved on doing all kinds of normal sales girl job, but I've always had it in mind that I want to be my own boss. So 1996, I stopped working for anybody. I started going to Onitsha. Aba, Ariara Market in Aba. I would go there then to go and buy all this cut and sew materials, shirts for men. I would sew them there, then bring them down to Lagos. Then I was selling them from one office to the other. I was hawking everywhere. Not really hawking on my head, but I was like going from one shop.
But were they receptive? A young girl going from office to office?
Of course, you will see a lot of things. Some people want to take advantage of me. Like, okay, come on. Some people even say, okay, I want to buy 10 shirts. Come and take money in something hotel. Then I'll be like, no, if you cannot give me my money now, because I've always had this fear of come after me show go. You know,
you want to bam.
I never. Then it's alone. You know, I've always been like contentment with everything I had, as little as they were at that time. I was never in a rush. I was never in a hurry because I've always known that I will get there. I've always known that these days will come. Yeah.
But then from going to Aba, getting shirts, I know you moved into security and all of that. How easy was it for a young girl who is not married to gather money, to be able to put money together to start business?
I remember I registered my company in 1999, Genesis Security Limited. And,
far back then?
Yeah, that should be like, maybe, is it 30 years or 20 something years thereabout? Yeah, 1999, about 23 years ago, that I registered my first company, and it was more of me going from one house to the other to market what I was selling then. Like, okay, I would go from one street to the other looking for new houses that I could sell galvanized fencing wire or electric fencing wire to at that time. So this engineer could tell you, okay, come tomorrow, or okay, I will give you the job. I will go out. At the end of the day, the engineer will just tell you, okay, I'll give you the job. Come and take the check in one hotel. So there's always this sexual harassment every phase of my life that I've passed through. There's always sexual harassment, like if you do this, you'll get this. But I've never for once fallen into that kind of it, because I've always had this in mind that it's just that phase I was passing through at that time was just, no, they were not going to last for too long. I knew it. So I never subjected myself to like, okay, let's have this together, then you can give me this. No. Rather, I remember a situation whereby I went to somebody, I was very hungry then, I was living in Apapa, I think 94 to be precise, and he said, okay, are you cellular in Ingba? And he said to me, I called the man on cellular, there was no mobile phone. He said, oh, come, I've not eaten, 12 o'clock. From Apapa, I went to Ijora, took a downfall, and I went to the man's place, and the man was like, okay, before I can give you the money, he promised me just 200 naira at that time. Before I will give you the money, we have to do this in my office.
200 naira.
I ran then, 200 naira should be like maybe 10k now, the value there at that time. I ran out of the office and I took a bus back to Ijora. From Ijora, there was no, I couldn't, even the Molue driver, the conductor abused me because I could not afford my fare that time. So because there was no money, I used my last 5 naira to board, that I boarded the downfall to Fadeyi. And I trekked back from Ijora to Apapa. It is a very, very far distance to each other. But it's one of those things that we can tell the stories today, you know, to God be the glory. A lot of these people are still alive. I remember one time again when I first got my UK visa, there's this man that I know, you know, I won't mention his name, that he liked me so much, and I liked him as a father. And I said, excuse me, I got a visa, give me some money to go and to help me with my ticket purchase. And he just said, okay, if you can come, let's do this together, then I can give you the money. I was disappointed. As much as I love that man, I was disappointed, like, okay, so because I needed help from you now, I have to give something back in
I
return.
don't, you know, sorry. So something that made me laugh. So my aunt is very adventurous. Now that she's talking about a man, I don't know if it is that particular man we are talking about or another man.
We'll talk about that one off the camera.
My auntie, a friend of hers, asked her to come over for threesome. My auntie did not bother to ask what a threesome was. Oh yes,
It was when I came to Lagos and where I was staying then, you know, from Malaysia now, you wanted to show that you're a big girl. And Mama Dubo just called me and said, Yemi, let's go. There's threesome. And I didn't want her to know that I'd pay me Otija. And I said, yeah, oh, let's go. We're gonna go. Let's go. Threesome. Then I asked, I now asked somebody next to my house, next to my door, like, Jonika, what is threesome? Yinka now said, 3 of you will be naked. Mama will be. I said, Mama will be doing what? Mama will be sleeping with. I said, God forbid. I told her, if you come to my house tomorrow, I will curse you. But I didn't know what threesome was all about, and I was pretending like I knew what it was. I never knew it was like nonsense. So I never thought any of those nonsense. No. Then I lived with their mom. You won't even dare. A lot of the orientation, a lot of things that I have now, because I lost my mom when I was like 12. I went to live with their own mom, my auntie straight away. You cannot live with my auntie and be wayward. It's not possible. You can't live with my auntie and be wayward. Because that auntie me by mama. There was no phone, but
monitoring spirit.
God bless her memory. And every second by it, my auntie will be like, Bamishi, where is Zaya? And I'll be like, oh my God, where is Zaya?
Typical like, African mom.
That is like advice back to back, you know, buying but at the end of the day, we thank God. At least for today, for those things that they taught us, we thank God for them today.
Okay, so you mentioned you got your UK visa as early back as when?
1993.
You know, this is like the average Nigerian dream. Everybody wants to travel out, and you got your visa, and now you're even resident in the UK. Yeah. So tell us, how were you able to do it back then? Because honestly, if I have the opportunity to travel now,
you fly.
I fly.
And that's why I mentioned destiny. I remember before that time, I used to have bad dreams. I used to dream a lot. And everywhere, I used to have this terrible stomach upset that I used to have. And everywhere people took me to spiritually, like, or something is wrong. Anywhere I knelt down, they were always talking about, oh, you're going to live abroad. I didn't have anyone that I used to think like, I don't understand, like I'm here for different purpose. You're telling me about you're gonna live with the white people. So I couldn't plus it together. But when it was time, I just went to make a phone call at a business center next to my house one day on a Saturday, and I met that man it was before me. He made his own phone call and he was talking about, come and pick your visa is ready. He was telling that person over the phone. Like, I would tear it if you don't bring my money, you know, E.B.U.N way of Hinina. So after I finished his own call, I said, before I made my uncle, I said, excuse me, sir, do you do visa?
Sir, I do visa. I don't do UK or US, but I have somebody who does them. Let's go together. Then we went to that man's house. We met on a Saturday, we set an appointment to meet on Monday. We went there on a Monday. The guy's office was like an embassy. People were there waiting for him. And before that time, God had already given me a job. I got a job through the former Commissioner for Finance, Bayelsa State, and I made exactly 500,000. That's why I said destiny.
Far back at
that time.
Whoa, that's a lot of money.
500,000 interest. Till I finished the job in Bayelsa, in Sagbama to be precise. I didn't even know the man was Commissioner for Finance during the Alaye Mesia period. So I just did my own. If I knew, I would have built him more, you know.
More.
So I did the job and I made that profit. And that 500,000 was with me on a Friday. We came back on a Thursday, so I had that 500,000 lump sum on Friday. That it was Saturday I went to make that phone call. So God was just programming everything, and then I walked into that business center. So when we got to the guy's office, and like, okay, to cut the long story short, we met him on the Monday. By Thursday, my passport was ready.
Wow.
The following Monday, we went to the embassy. The following Thursday, I got my visa.
Whoa.
And I did my visa for exactly 350,000 naira, and I bought my ticket for exactly 150,000 naira.
The exact amount.
The exact amount that I got from the job. That's why I was talking about destiny. That all these things, when God, things will just, you see things start falling in place without much struggle.
So there is the God factor in this.
Yeah.
There's this other part of as a woman, especially when you begin to grow into being a woman, like from your 20s, they expect that you should be dependent on a man. You should, like, whatever you want to achieve, they don't believe. In fact, when young ladies want to move into decent apartments, their mothers begin to tell them that men will begin to run away from you but what do you have to say in situations like that? Because I saw you live well. I saw an independent lady before you even settled down with your husband. You were able to do things by yourself. What do you have to say with this kind of mentality?
Because I've not been the lucky one with that kind of lifestyle. If, for example, if you date Dangote now, and whatever riches you gather from Dangote, by the time it's my turn, by Dangote money problem. So I never had that luck of meeting rich guys. Even if I met them that time, they wouldn't do one for me. So I quickly, I'd always known that. Then I'd always preferred to date somebody of my caliber. I don't believe chasing somebody's husband or chasing one big man, because the fear of Mama Fimi Shogunwe was always there that time.
What is it about this Ogo?
No, my mother, my mom used to say that time. Okay. And I could remember Tayo, told me, I know this will be in the video. Told me that time, but that I was locked up somewhere by one big man, and he was going to use me for juju, and so it came together with the orientation I've had before.
Video,
so I've always had that fear. Now go straight to your question. I've always been independent since like 1994, and if we calculate that age back, I don't know how old then I was, but I was less than 20. I've never been afraid to be by myself or to be all to myself or whatever, because I just wanted to, number one, I needed freedom from like, I was looking forward to my independence, like to wake up at my own time, you know. So it's still like when we wake up in the morning, we have to do prayer meeting. I was looking forward to my own independence, but at the end of the day, there was no way I could live. The people I lived with, I'm cutting a lot of stories now off. The people I lived with that time, you don't want to know some stories. You don't want to know. I'll tell you off camera. My uncle that I was thinking, took back me for a while. It was when I left the place. It was when the landlord some money, and I said okay. And I got a job that time at Amesco K2. I was making money. They were not really working. So that time my uncle said, he said to my uncle that my uncle was not living with his friend,
I had no place to live. I said, okay, let me continue. The house was 100 naira per month, Shagisha. They were already owing 1 year. I said, okay, I'll pay that 1 year and I'll pay another 1 year more. The landlord said, no, I must leave the house. My uncle that owned the house that time was already staying with his own friend who was not living there. So my uncle didn't tell me to come and stay with him. He didn't. I was stranded. There was nowhere for me to go. The landlord said, no. I said, after a while, the landlord said, it was the uncle that said I should not let you stay in there. Knowing fully well there was nowhere where I used to go. So there was a time, one night I was stranded, there was no place for me to sleep. I had to go and put up with one copper who almost raped me overnight. You know, all of these things, they are all long stories, you know, but we thank God today. So that's the reason for my being independent. So really, like, when all those incidents happened, I said, no, I just have to be by myself. Then
Did you ever at any point feel like giving up?
I've never thought about it. Giving up of
like, I'm tired, all the things I've been through. Why would I lose my mom? Things are so bad. You know, suicide is a thing these days. Did you ever think about it? And if you didn't think about it, what was it that kept you from thinking about it?
I have never been suicidal because at the end of the day, there's nothing I lay my hands on that I don't succeed. Even if I was selling pure water back then, I've never given up because I've never been so been in a very, very tight corner. God will always come through. 9 minutes, see tomorrow, till now. When the over £1, something will just happen from one corner. God has never left me for 1 day. Something will just surface from nowhere. So there's nothing like I can't remember waking baby soon. So I've never had that situation that will push me to start being suicidal because I've never been so in a very tight corner. You know, something will happen.
Okay, I'm going to fast forward now till when our skits, because now when it is something big, it is our thing. It is no longer your thing. Like, what started the motivation to start all this short clip? And did you know it was even going to blow like this when you started?
When I had my daughter, you know the challenges I went through before I had my daughter. You didn't ask that question. No.
I'm so sorry.
So it took me a while before I had my daughter. 9 years after marriage, challenging years, but at the end of you know where we were.
Don't say that.
Okay, sorry. Eventually, we stayed through, and here we are. And what was the question again?
I was talking about your skits.
Oh yeah. So when I had Ewa in 2014, then I went to the US to her father. So out of boredom, I have some old videos that I did. Then out of boredom, my husband would go to work. I was alone at home with my daughter, and I just started recording some things. And then along the line, I stopped. Then last year, I just did something in my car, and I sent it out. And like, people were sending it back to me from US, from my friends in Dubai, and I'm like, And people were like, she's my friend, though, she's my friend. I'm like, short popular, don't you? They say, yeah, it was shared in my church group. I'm like, really? So that motivated me, and I did another one, and that one just went
viral.
That one just went everywhere, and I've not stopped since then.
Whatever your hand findeth to do it.
Well, yeah.
She got to the UK and she studied for nursing, right? You work as a healthcare.
I'm in my final year doing my nursing. Mental health nursing.
And she's 40, over 40.
I'm 45.
Oh my God. So you see, she was into security. She started out making clothes for men. I'm saying that, do not say something is not working, then you give up. Or you're a lady, you're just waiting to get married so that you can begin to bank on the man's money. We have stories of women who are now stranded because they've been too dependent on a man for their livelihood, and at the end of the day, the man changes and they have to start all over again.
The thing is, if you are looking for a kind of man that suits your own purpose, then are you that kind of the lady that suits his own purpose? Because we can't, for example, say now, okay, like I always say, you can't say, okay, you need a man that lives in Lekki. So to some extent, only between one bad life a day, you must have taken your life to some extent that your man will be like, oh wow, she's really tried for herself. But you can't just be walking around the streets by geographically, and at the end of the day, you have nothing to show for it. Or moving from one aristo to the other, then you'll be lucky. So there's nothing. I encourage people, even if it's pure water, get something. Just be doing something.
Yes.
Just get engaged. The Bible says that will bless the works of your hands. So it's when you have something doing. That's what he blesses, not when you're idle. I went back to school 3 years ago at 42.
At 42.
And I'm going to graduate by September.
There are no limits. And see, you saw me post some things on my social media. That one party that went for, it was a housewarming. Why are you putting your face there? Kilo tek boju segbe. I got to because me and Bashiri Castle. To delve into your marriage. You don't mind, do you?
Not quite.
Let's talk about, I know that your husband is in the US and you're in the UK. I'll put it to you straight. Does distant relationship, does it work?
They do work, but I won't advise it. They work with understanding, along with age. But there are things it was my choice to stay back in the UK. We went to the US and I said, we don't think we want everybody just walk into a store and get a gun. I don't want somebody to just wake up one day and start firing. So to me, I didn't have enough security staying back from the US and I came back to the UK out of my own choice. But I don't advise it for young couples. It's not advisable at all. At all. There, a lot of shit happens. So pardon my language. A lot of things happen that you don't want them to happen. Because at the end of the day, you are not there. You know, whatever they say to you, none. If you come some years together, then you understand each other, you know each other, then there are some things you can just wave and just not think much about. But if you are still very, very young in your marriage, you'll be so. Anyway, I don't encourage it because there are a lot of decisions that I've taken because I took those decisions by myself that I got things wrong. Because when you are alone by yourself, especially if it's during the period that you both have issues that you're not talking to each other, and you have to take a decision in between that period, something that has to do with you or with your home, and you are the only one thinking. You're not talking to each other. There's nobody to like, okay, let's think about this together. I've taken a lot of wrong decisions because I was thinking alone. I was all by myself.
Nobody to rub minds with.
Thank you. That's the word. Nobody to rub minds with. So, and I've taken some positive as well decisions but I've taken more of wrong decisions because I was thinking.
You were by yourself.
Alone. Yeah. So I don't advise it. Then there are a lot of times that like school runs now, sometimes I feel so depressed. Like I'm married now. Why am I doing? Forgetting that this is my personal decision to stay back in the UK. But there are times you just go shopping, you do the shopping by yourself, you pay the money, or you're the one carrying the bags, you get home, you are the one putting them where they should be. So you feel so like all by yourself. And plus or minus now, we've not lived together for like 9 years that I've been back.
Yeah, that's a long time.
It is a long time.
As we begin to round off, we're going to talk about children, conception. I know you waited a long time. You mentioned it earlier while we were talking that you waited about 9 years.
Yeah.
And you have beautiful Ewa.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. How was the period of waiting and how did you cope with it?
There's something I'm going to say here. Let me use this platform to say this. When things are happening to us in Africa or in Nigeria, because of our background orientation, we think everything is spiritual. So we focused more on spiritual rather than the medical aspects. So it was my father-in-law who now said one day to us that he was telling God, there's nothing I ask you, God, that you don't do for me. Why are you not asking me over these children? And God now said to him that they are just suffering from uncompleted treatment. And then we were not really more into we were more of spiritual. We concluded, you know. So there was no much of medical. The very first time we did a very, very serious medical examination that we ran tests, we ran this, and within the space of 4 months, I conceived. So those periods, you don't want to think about it. A waiting woman will be so sensitive to everything.
Everything.
I was sensitive to everything around me. Then I was not visiting my friends. I stopped visiting because one of my friends, one day, she has this set of twins and they were having their birthday party. And I went there. She was giving souvenirs to everybody that came with children. And when she got to my point, she jumped over. That day I go home and I cried because I was like, wow. She didn't mean nothing, but I was expecting her to okay, let me take. I use it as point of contact or whatever to God that would this time next year, you know. But So I stopped visiting my friends that have their children. A lot of my friends have their children grown up already, but I want to play with them, to marry. So I want to I stopped because everything around me, my own be Lumbawi. When you start talking about children, that's why they say to buy there's a way they will react differently to things because I was thinking everything was about me.
Sensitive.
I was very sensitive to everything. Those waiting period, my in-laws were the best anyone could have because if not for them, my husband was very, very like, oh no, even at a point I woke my husband up one day, one January 1st, and I said to him, you know what, because my husband is 53 this year, and I said to him like, you are getting old. Love Feyawo, and he said to me, it was giving me so much confidence that I used to think maybe I should sit down become. Until he went naked and he said, if I had ever thought about it, there's not something he's thinking about you. You know, I was like, how can somebody be giving me so much rest of mind? You know, he gave me that so much peace. And my mother-in-law, my father, I call them mom and dad. They gave me so much peace. They were so prayerful. All through it all, they were very supportive. Anything they come out about, you know, they were always there. Want to work, want to share. Want to joke on sorrow. So I stopped seeing as a problem because they were so supportive. As I sort of see my inability to conceive that time as a big deal because of like, oh wow, if they were like, okay, I thought about it, the pressure would have been so heavy on my head. But because I had their backing and everything was just that 9 years of waiting was just.
So as we begin to round off, a word of advice for a young woman out there who is married, who is trying to navigate life, who is trying to do something tangible for herself out of life. What is your advice to that person?
My advice is that there's no shortcuts to success. It's what you already know. It's just hard work, perseverance. There's no shortcuts. The shortcuts, no, just believe in yourself. Just go for it. Trust in God. Keep believing that one day, you get there.
I want you to give me that Ijesha feel.
Okay.
Get into character.
Order. Interview ki mo la ṣe ni bele na san oko mi o.
Atomoyin, why did you say that?
Ìwọ náà ló kí mi sọ̀rọ̀. Ọ̀fẹ́ ni mo la ṣe o.
Yes.
Mo drive láti ilé ṣàdébé. Wọ́n sáà mi gbohùn lẹ́nu mi láìsan kọ́bọ̀. So
Atomoyin, that was a part of it.
It is part of it. It is part of it. Òyìnbó iná náà rí wọn sí. So this is Bajini.
Yeah.
Sorry, make follow ọjà. This is not my platform.
No, you can.
Okay.
This is Bajini.
Ìkéde tí ẹ kò sanwó fún. This is Bajini herself. Follow me on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and gbogbo.
Thank you so much, Aunty, for being on the E.B.U.N show. Thank you for staying the course of this episode with us. Join us again for another episode. Bye.
Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.